The 10-minute drill.
This is a big one.
Covered by Universal Roof and Contracting. The difference is Universal.
On 1010XL.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Hit it.
All right. Sports concepts and rationalizations coming your way right now. We call it the 10-minute drill. We'll kick it around. Beef, I think at the end we're handing out a wonderful prize pack. Can you tell folks what we have?
Yeah, stay tuned. At the end of the 10-minute drill, one lucky Guggen is going to score dinner for two from our friends at Sonny's Barbecue.
I'll take it. Wow.
Okay, scratch that. Jeff is going to have dinner.
thank you.
Just enjoy the 10-minute drill.
Thank you. Does at Denny's place are the receivers there?
They can be.
Are they just kids, or like why would I'm curious if Dobbs and Minshew were there? It'd be nice if Chark and Dede were there.
They've gone there.
They have,
yeah,
but not with Minshew yet because Minshew's just back.
Well, I don't
you
know.
don't
If this
know
was the
for
first
sure.
time
You
back.
just know
Yeah,
you
I don't
saw
know.
him, yeah.
Yeah, I just saw pictures of him over there, so I knew he was back in town.
I was just curious. That's again get back to some football specific, angles. I always come back to Minshew being he's the Pied Piper, isn't he?
Yeah,
I mean he's
it's
he's
part
Saint
of
Christopher. Lead these rats over the cliff.
Part of it's the position, but yeah, for sure he's got to step up and be the guy this year. I'm somewhat interested in pay structures, and it's obviously interesting right now with the on the. I just got a text. Made me chuckle out loud. Congratulations on the Apollo Mets deal. Your ass is in the jackpot. Yes, it is. Yes, it is, friend.
Anyway, the pay structure, are you going baseball?
No, I'm not.
Oh.
And then I saw this article, and I was like, man, oh, man, you want to talk about dudes who have an argument. What sport is the most underpaid, would you say? Like, is there any?
If you're asking me baseball, football, basketball.
I'm not.
Well,
I'm asking you any sport.
It depends on what they're. I don't know.
Yeah,
it would depend. But I would say probably, if it's a minor sport, it's minor for a reason, and pay is part of that. So for soccer, probably.
Well, this sport sold for more than $4 billion in 2016.
MMA,
UFC.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
UFC.
Whoa.
Yeah,
and I guess they say
they pay their fighters like $40,000.
It's unbelievable.
Well, yeah, you know what though? It's like boxing. Boxing's the same way. You're not a name.
Yeah.
You're not a champion. You're not getting any cash. You get you get an 8-1 young guy against a 12-6
Here's where people are missing the boat though. And it's going to happen here with these owners. Trust me. And the next, as my dad used to say, 100 years, all new people, don't sweat the little stuff. But in the next 100 years or so, like. I know you got to have a guy, a boss or somebody run it, but why don't the players
just start their own league?
Yeah, and take a cut more? Because I read this, so I was curious, and you know a lot more about. You watch. I don't know much about the UFC at all. Okay, so I'm
no expert, but I've watched more UFC in this pandemic than I did. Almost leading up to
UFC President Dana White has an epidemic on his hands and no clear solution in sight. Now,
and by the way, just before you go, Dana White, this was it wasn't like he started and voila, a year later he sold it. I mean, he started this, I think he may have been, did he start Bellator even? I mean, he started this 20 years ago, and finally it just boom.
Right, and there's a storm brewing for the UFC that has nothing to do with the mysterious islands or opposition to Dana White's bold assertion the show must go on regardless of the ongoing pandemic. Make no mistake, the financial realities of said pandemic certainly play a part in the timing of so many big-name UFC fighters making separate but very much similar public stances against the promotion in recent weeks. So, anyway, the writer goes on, let's start by sharing a trio of facts that the most accurately frame where things stand at the moment. UFC fighters have been historically underpaid. The expensive cost of nutrition and elite training have led many to share how they can be lucky to break even at times. The fact the company sold for more than $4 billion in 2016, yet reporting from a recent antitrust lawsuit revealed the company only shares less than 20% of its revenue with the fighters compared to the roughly 50% in the NFL and MLB remains a hard pill for UFC athletes to swallow. Follow me now?
I would say that if you punch other people for a living, you're never going to get paid like a baseball pitcher. Right.
Even the stars?
Because a star attracts people to your sport. Nobody's turning it on to see, a couple of guys that are only worth $20,000 a fight. That's a lot of money to fight somebody for 10 minutes. That's not the same. You're an independent contractor.
The fight I watched the other night where I watched that dude get punched and punched and punched, I was like, man, you couldn't pay me enough. But anyway.
Sure, but you don't have the responsibility of being in a team sport.
Yeah. Fighters like McGregor were never going to fight this year without accepting a huge pay cut, which lowers their value and negotiating power, hence they're not fighting. Any boxing fan can tell you how a disorganized sport can make getting what you want so difficult because White and the Fertitta brothers rescued UFC from its deathbed in 2001.
See, 2001.
Yeah, and endured the hardship of rebuilding it into a legitimate pay-per-view juggernaut. The promotion held a level of control over its fighters that boxing has never known. As one league with one promoter, UFC has held long enough leverage and authority to assure the best always fight the best. It has also kept its fighters hungry enough to constantly accept dangerous challenges by withholding life-changing payouts to all but the upper-tier stars, keeping their true take-home incomes a mystery and reinvesting most profits to reach the brand. Okay. And I get it to a point, but, yeah, some of this...
They really have that over a bite. Because, listen, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
As restricted as you are as an NBA, MLB, or NFL player to find a similar job somewhere.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, when you just beat someone's A for 5 rounds and that's your job, and you're subject to what they'll pay you to do it, because where are you going to go do that? Like, if I'm a basketball player, if I want to, I can always go play in Croatia and make $4 million, make something. I mean, point being, find a fight organization that's going to pay you more.
So, one thing about Dana White is he gets annoyed and he'll scream at you if you asked about why so many popular fighters are revolting at the same time. White mocked the reporter before dismissing the severity of their plea. You know I love you, but that's the stupidest question you ever asked me. We've been here so many times before. This isn't the first rodeo. We've been here before. You're asking me a question I don't bleep and know. I don't know what's going to happen in my business over the next couple months. I don't give a bleep. I'm doing what I can to keep the bus on the bleeping highway here. I don't give a bleep. If people don't want to fight, you don't have to fight.
Correct. And that's a fair, because there will always be someone who does.
Yeah. And
the next guy with personality or unreal ability is coming next.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a dangerous game. Fighters don't have a lot of stake, and maybe, nor should you.
But it's interesting.
When you make your living beating the hell out of someone, I mean, I just, what do you expect?
But when you see 4 years ago a company getting selling for that much money, and then you realize you're picking up, and you're a fairly big name, and you're picking up, I don't know what the numbers are. They keep it a secret, but
I don't either.
I just thought that was interesting.
Well, I will say this.
From a pay standpoint. Yeah. And I guess my question is, there's not a union, right?
I doubt it.
Right? There's not a UFC.
No.
Right. So, all the big sports have it. If it's going to become a big sport, is it eventually going to go that way?
I don't think so. It's such a short career, dude. I mean, look at the greats in other sports.
Yeah.
They last 10, 12, 20, 50
Football's
years.
A short career on average.
But on average, who are – tell me the biggest stars in the NFL right now or in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Tell them to me.
Quarterbacks.
Yeah, and they're all in the league 15 years.
Oh, well, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The star – who has been the biggest star outside of Conor McGregor in your mind in the UFC?
Jones, maybe.
Okay. I was thinking Ronda Rousey.
Ronda Rousey.
Who was a cup of coffee
when
it comes to an investment in.
Mm-hmm.
So I just don't know what the staying power and what the...
Bones Jones.
That guy is an A kicker, that's for sure. I have been very hard on...
John Bones Jones. Chandler and Arthur's brother.
Yes, that's correct.
That's
but
real.
But not Jacoby's.
No. Or no relation to Cleon. Yeah. Former Met.
I have been
Andrew's daddy.
I've been ahead of the curve on the Jim Harbaugh criticism.
Head of the curve on the Harbaugh criticism.
From the day I was criticizing before he's proven to be mediocre. I did this 3-4 years ago. Now he's giving you 3 or 4 losses 3 or 4 years in a row.
All right.
That being said, as a basis,
yes,
I need a reality check from. Good grief! I need a reality check.
Okay.
From the fine folks up at Michigan, as I read a column.
Yes. 5
coaches who could replace Jim Harbaugh at Michigan.
All right, who do we got?
And then they go in, a particular order. So I'm just going to ask you.
I'm listening.
Just, would you rather have
Harbaugh or?
Correct.
All right, I'm ready.
Would you rather have, and by the way, the answer may be some of these other guys.
Uh-huh.
Would you rather have Jim Harbaugh or PJ Fleck?
I like the direction Fleck's going. That's
But who would you
exciting. But
Jim Harbaugh's direction, by the way, has included 11 win seasons at Stanford and Super Bowl appearances with San Francisco.
Yeah. Oof. I probably have Harbaugh.
I'd take Fleck. Would you rather have Jim Harbaugh or Matt Campbell? Matt Campbell, you've been on him for a while.
Yeah, but I know the NFL loves him and they vetted him and he pulls off I don't know. It's Iowa State too now. So.
Well, he's done things at Iowa State that have never been done. Right. He's won 8 games back-to-back years. He's had a winning record in conference like 4 or 5 years in a row. This has never happened at Iowa State.
Yeah. Why is he still there?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. He probably hadn't had the exact.
He's won a Liberty and lost to Alamo in a Camping World. He's 8-5, 8-5, 7-6. He's good. Yeah, he's a good coach. I like him. These are guys who I would. Let me put it this way, Pross. These are guys that I would look to replace Harbaugh if Harbaugh left.
Yeah.
But I'm not necessarily going to get him right now.
No, and I think that the tone of this is that. But, I mean, is that where we are?
Well, who are the other things?
Like, is Jim Harbaugh going to gosh, I don't have the list in front of me. Those were the two that I thought were most, like, one was Chris Peterson. I think I'd take Chris Peterson over Jim Harbaugh. Why wouldn't you? I mean, Chris Peterson did it at Washington what Harbaugh hasn't done at Michigan just as quick.
Yeah.
Now he's resigned, obviously, since then. But
yeah.
And then it was. Shame on me. I don't have the other two.
Well, anyway, I'm looking at this.
I don't think they were as I didn't think they were like at all guys you would take instead of.
Well, CBS Sports ranked the Big Ten coaches. It's funny you brought that up. James Franklin is the first right now, number 9 overall. With Urban Meyer's retirement, it should come as no surprise to see Franklin atop the list.
Franklin's number 9 in all of college football?
Yeah, the most accomplished coach of the conference during the college football playoff, won a Big Ten title at Penn State, and led the Nittany Lions to 3 major bowls. He did go 24-15 at Vanderbilt. To put that in proper context, Vandy has won a total of 25 games in the next 6 years.
James Franklin's an awesome coach.
Yeah.
Would he lead you? Do you lead Penn State for Michigan or no?
No.
Right, they're equal jobs?
Yeah. Second is Ryan Day, who's, we'll know more as a couple seasons.
There's like a Coker implication, right? You got to wait till he does it on his own.
But nonetheless,
By the way, Dan Mullen, I saw, those 13 guys on the Athlon?
Yeah.
You know how many of them Dan Mullen's recruited? 2. Continue.
What do you mean 13 of them?
They have 13 on the top 4 teams in the Athlon's All-SEC. 13 Gators. Made Athlons. They do 4 teams of All-SEC. First, second, third, and fourth. Florida had 13 guys. 2 of them recruited, and one of them was a punter.
Michigan and Harbaugh is 3rd, and he's 12th overall. He's one of the most polarizing coaches in the country. Surprised to see him climb in the rankings, as I thought another season without a win against Ohio State would further hurt his perception. But anyway, so he's 3rd in the Big Ten.
How does Scott Frost win at such a high level at UCF and can't at?
Might take some time off to see. 4th is Kirk Ferentz. 5th is P.J. Fleck. 6th is Paul Christ at Wisconsin.
Now, it's interesting how they come up with this list, but why would anyone take Ferentz over Fleck? Why? Hasn't Iowa just been a middling, okay program for forever?
Been to bowl games 17 times in 19 years, 2 Orange Bowls and a Rose Bowl. If Fleck did that at Minnesota, he'd be a hero.
Well, he hadn't been there long enough to do that.
Well, I know, but if in 17 years, if he goes to 15 bowls and
what Fleck is, didn't have any tread or traction going in. He's had to start it, right?
Yeah.
Do it.
Who did Ferentz?
They had Hayden Fry forever. Iowa's been a power forever.
Well, power.
Well, as powerful as they are under Ferentz.
He's kept them there. My guy Pat Fitzgerald is 7th. Scott Frost is 8th.
He's Fitzgerald's ebbs and flows, doesn't he?
Well, yeah, because it's Northwestern.
You throw up a great year once every 4 or 5 years.
I mean, how do you compete? I mean, Northwestern is like, Vanderbilt in the SEC.
P.J. Fleck went like 15-0 at Western Michigan his last year. Though.
I'll tell you a guy that got ranked. Yeah, I know. I'll tell you a guy that got ranked way low. I'd watch out for this guy. They have him as the worst coach in the Big Ten.
Ouch.
Yeah, 14th.
Damn. On your radar,
DAL. Yeah, Mike Loxley. Yeah. I know he was terrible at New Mexico.
Yeah. Where's he, at Maryland?
Yeah, he can recruit, man. The number 1 quarterback in the country is from up there. And I'm not saying he's going to go to Maryland. I don't know if he will, but Loxley's going to get. He got Tua's little brother to come. He's going to get some guys, man. I think Maryland's going to start to compete in the Big Ten.
I really worry about a guy who got a chance somewhere and won like 2 games in 3 years.
Yeah. Then he went and learned, and he knows about the value of recruiting, and the guy can. I see Maryland's name on a lot of players.
That is true. And if you recruit, you're going to at least get 8-4 good. And at Maryland, that's probably enough.
Loxley's just getting started at Maryland. The way he's recruited out of the gate, there's reason to be optimistic. Still, it's difficult to rank him any higher based on his record as a coach. 6-40 overall between stops at New Mexico and Maryland. But was it 1 year at Maryland? Did they have a big win last year early?
No, they almost beat Texas.
Is that what it was?
They lost. Pretty sure.
Mike Loxley,
I don't know.
3-9 last year.
In his only year?
Yeah.
And he didn't replace Durkin when he got suspended or whatever.
I'm trying to see what is.
Yeah. Oh, Loxley came from Ohio State, right?
Loxley was at Alabama.
He got into a peeing match with somebody at Ohio State last year.
They beat Howard, and then they went and beat the heck out of Syracuse, 63-20. Then they got Then they lost at Temple by 3, and then they had the big showdown with Penn State, and Penn State beat them 59-0.
Yeah, I'm not big on Loxley.
And then they lost.
It wasn't Texas. Must have been 2 years ago.
4, 5, 6, 7 in a row to close out.
Oh, and they almost beat Ohio State 2 years ago too.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's whatever.
Let
me ask you this: who's 13th? Or how many teams is in the Big Ten? Are in the Big Ten?
Yeah, you're right. 13. 13 is Mel Tucker.
Oof.
12 is Lovie Smith. 11 is Tom Allen at Indiana.
Never heard of him. I'm kidding.
10 is Jeff Brom at Purdue. 9 is Greg Schiano.
Again, Brom at Purdue last year would have been 4th. Right?
Yeah.
They had that great year. Purdue had that great year. Yeah.
It went from 8th to 10th. Anyway, let's take a break. Beef, let's go caller number 3. Tell them what they're going to win at 641-1010, friend.
Caller number 3 right now, 641-1010. Going to take home our 10-minute drill prize pack, which today features a dinner for 2 at Sonny's Barbecue. 641-1010. Call now.